Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Monday the 4th of April 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon we'll bring you the 5 news items that happened today that you need to know about. Let's jump into it. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed up 0.3% today to 7,513 points. It's creeping slowly towards its all-time high, which was reached back in August last year. Pendal was the best performer, more of that in a moment, while fellow fund manager Magellan Financial jumped 9%. There wasn't a huge amount happening today. The utilities, materials and technology sectors rose by around 1%. The consumer discretionary index fell 0.9%. Among the best were Fortescue Metals, which rose more than 3%, Software Group Xero, which jumped 2.3%, and Iluka Resources, which surged more than 6% after getting a loan from the federal government to build a mineral sands separation plant. Aristocrat Leisure was the worst of the large caps, down 2.8%. Story number 2, the inquiry into whether the Star should maintain its licence in New South Wales continued today, and the group's chief financial officer said she knew gaming chips were a good way for people to transfer money, but nonetheless patrons could take them out of the casino because it was too difficult to stop. It came amid revelations that the Star allowed billionaire property developer Philip Dongfang Li to purchase $2.7 billion in chips over 15 years. Evidence tendered suggests Mr. Li would recash or keep some of the chips without playing them. The inquiry also heard that another Chinese billionaire bought $1.7 billion worth of chips at the Star in Sydney over 5 years and wasn't investigated. Amazing story, that one. Story number 3. Fund manager Perpetual has bid $2.4 billion for rival Pendal in an unsolicited bid. Perpetual said a merger of the two would result in a market-leading company, while the boss of Pendal hinted that the offer was lowballing his company. Pendal's share price jumped nearly 20% at one point before finishing 18% higher, though it is still well below the offer price, suggesting many shareholders aren't confident it will get done. Perpetual share price, on the other hand, finished the day down 6.5%. Story number 4. Let's check into Canberra. The unofficial election campaign continues, and while the coalition is talking itself up, the polls aren't so good for the government. The AFR Ipsos poll released today shows that the coalition is behind 10 points on a two-party preferred basis. The Australian's News poll is about the same. Certainly, there was no budget bounce for the Prime Minister, and in terms of preferred leader, it's pretty close between Mr Morrison and Labor's Anthony Albanese. Mr Albanese was on the hustings today, saying a Labor government wouldn't increase taxes. That's always been a fear among the electorate, that Labor would come and hike taxes. The Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, spent most of the day in Victoria and was pushing for individual states to ease isolation rules for COVID-19 close contacts. His comments came as the COVID numbers came in slightly lower today. Across the country, there were more than 42,000 infections and 14 deaths. In story number 5, there have been some horrendous stories coming out of Ukraine today, particularly around capital city Kyiv. Russian troops have withdrawn from the city and are leaving behind horrific scenes, including signs of torture, people killed at close range, mass graves, and bodies with bound hands, including children. Britain said Vladimir Putin must be held accountable for the war crimes. Russia has denied the accusations and said Kyiv staged footage of the corpses. It called for a UN Security Council meeting over the allegations. The European Union has indicated it may introduce more sanctions against Moscow as a result of the atrocities. That's it for the afternoon report for Monday the 4th of April 2022. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning for the Tuesday edition of Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.